All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:30, July 9th. 2025. And first thing on the agenda is the minutes of June 12th. Those minutes, you guys got them mailed out today or yesterday.
Yeah.
I had a comment on number 4, Old Mill Road in Illinois. And that was I would say something like the commission agrees this is something that's not a concern to us. And I don't know, but
I
this
don't
was
know
not
what that
finished
was.
sentence.
Yeah.
Then
I'm sure what that was.
commission agrees this is something that's not a concern to us. Something like that. Yeah. Item 8. Second bullet. Second line, may need to hold. Well, we need to start with July 1st, 2025. May need to hold.
Earlier case.
Oh, wait a minute. Scope of work was to be completed. That's what it was. First line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I had. Anybody else have any comments on those minutes? Okay, I'll need a motion to pass the minutes as amended, the June 12th minutes.
Motion to pass the minutes of June 12th as amended.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Unanimous for that, okay. Bills, John, did you take care of, we don't have bills, but did you take care of that? Did you get paid yet?
I submitted my stuff and they'd already started the process, so I get the check and
Great, okay, and where's the stuff right now?
I have one here to show everyone, the rest is in my garage.
Do you want to keep it there, or do you want to find a better place?
It's up to the committee, it doesn't matter.
How big a space is it?
It's 5 of these.
5 of those?
Yep.
Okay, you got room for them,
For right now, yeah,
okay.
we'll see how long it takes to get the trees down and stuff, and I'm sure we won't use all of it right away, but we'll use a lot of it once we get done.
Okay, I don't know, you want to show us the stuff now?
Yeah, sure.
Kind of like comes out in fall.
When we ordered 5 kits.
Good. The whole seal.
There's my popcorn here. So it comes with some personal protective equipment, some gloves. Comes with little sticks and scrapers. A lot of times this stuff's not recommended, it's more for professional use. But the rest of it, what we'll be dealing with is, we can use the scrapers for the large legends to get those off, but then it will also be just a spray and a brush. So we have, each kit comes with a large spray. A small bottle is already filled with, actually, sorry, 2 small bottles with sprays. 2 separate types of brushes. And then each kit has another gallon of W2. So for the majority of our stones, once we get the heavy stuff off, it's just maybe spray, let it sit, and then maybe rinse with water, and then maybe we come back and spray again.
Do they rinse it, or do they just?
Some are rinse it, some you don't. I think you have to just, I'm gonna double check with Colonial, but there may be one, like, the slate you might have to rinse down, but marble everything that you don't, and so I just have to double check.
Yeah,
We have 5 of those.
maybe for the, after the freeze avail, you have like have Colonial with that.
Have someone come out and train. They said it's not a lot of training, but I'd rather have someone show us appropriately than.
Yeah. Thank you, John, for taking care of that.
Sure, yeah.
And I guess you keep the stuff in there. It's not flammable, right?
No, it's just like an anti-algicide, anti-mold.
Great. I guess also in the mail, we could consider this other request from the Conservation Commission about that Shore Road project that we talked about just briefly there. 54 Shore Drive, which is, it's put in a garage. That would you summarize that?
Yeah.
Garage addition, driveway. So this area has already got a driveway in that place and house built. It's really. Shouldn't have any archaeological concern to us. Any comments? Thoughts? No? Okay. Since the hearing is tonight, it's a little bit late to send them meet to Conscom, but we want to go out there and say, hold the horses.
Now, why did they send it to us?
I'm glad they could send us stuff to let us know when
Yeah.
anything was going on.
Yeah.
And we can even say, yeah. Mhm. In case it's in an area that we
Yeah.
think is sensitive,
Yeah, okay.
right? Yeah, it looks clearly, oh, no, the MHC. That I've got on the thing is, you may have heard this, we had the Miller House, on the point, it was, across from the point. There's, around the corner, basically, main sign.
Yep.
It used to be a store a long time ago and whatnot. And it was a Rooney's house until recently.
So
The
basically,
young couple bought it.
Yep.
And, they had trouble getting insurance. The insurance company was insuring because the house was old. And it was like over 20 years old, and they wouldn't insure it. And so they're finding, a lot of people finding out that, insurance companies now, because of the, all the disasters that have happened, they don't want to, be exposed to as much risk as before, so they're thinking that old houses are a problem. And some of them basically go into the MAC risk list and seeing that, oh, it's on a MAC risk list, the whole house, so they're not renewing the insurance. Or some of the companies, not everybody, but, or they'll, now that this reports, they're sending out drones to look at roofs on houses and saying, oh, we're not insuring you until you do your roof over, or something like that. The Mass Historic, actually, it's not just around here, it's nationwide. So Mass Historic sent out a letter or a memo that anybody at the historical commissions in the towns can use to explain to, excuse me, the insurance companies that the macros doesn't mean the house is dangerous to insure. You know what I mean? It basically means it's on the list. In fact, we have houses on the macros list that aren't old, really old. They're newer houses that could be, modern houses, what's the term there? But, built fifties to modern design or what's that?
Postmodern style.
Yeah, mid-modern,
Yeah.
mid-century modern.
Mid-century,
That's it.
yeah.
And they'd be on a macros list. So, they sent this out for us to use, I was pass that around.
What's the MAPRS acronym? MCRIS?
Massachusetts Cultural Resource Information System.
No A at that.
Yeah, it's just animation, yes.
Oh, mass, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. New townhouse hours, you guys saw the hours online. They're not open Fridays now, which is a pain because now we have to, if there's a holiday on Monday,
Yeah, we're not open Friday for them.
yeah, so we have to post on
Yeah.
Thursdays, for
Yeah.
sure.
Are they going to, I wonder if they're going to ask for public comment on how it's going and from committees and people who have this kind of business.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I guess
They're
it's
going to evaluate
it's like a.
For the summer.
Yeah.
I think it's permanent, I think there was negotiations with unions and all.
Oh, really?
So,
That's not what it says online. It'll say it. John, you're very dismissive about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
it seems like that.
I understand it's problem of hiring people too. They have trouble getting people to work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Trying to make it afford before they work week for the long weekend.
Is it a 4-day work week or do people work at home on
I
Friday?
don't, they had the extended hours, they were already working half days on Fridays,
Yeah.
but you suspended with the other things.
But they were working later on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
They weren't working until 6.
Yeah.
But I had something I didn't know was that I should have, I guess. They were only on 35-hour work week anyway.
Yes, and what we were doing in my.
So, it's not really a big piece of work hours, it's just that, changing them around.
Yeah.
But,
It's not convenient for a lot of the public.
no. Yeah. And I think it's already nice on.
Well, they did what they, I would love that, but that's never gonna happen.
You know. So anyways, that's new, and then the dump hours have changed too, no longer late night on Mondays, they start at 10 a.m. but I guess the same time, 3:45. That's probably more important. I don't think. And I guess Paul Armstrong's back as building inspector.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the other inspector is gone.
Did you leave any?
I think he's gone now, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not certain, but I think he's going pretty soon.
That was perfect.
He never goes. Yeah, it keeps turning up. It's good. He was just over, I don't see a Woodstock and stuff. But, you know, it's another thing of trying to get people to work. I mean, they think it was good, but it's still.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find anybody, stuff. So some entities work out for themselves. About it. He was mentioned too, there's a house over on East Street up in the north, planning to come down soon. We haven't got a demo permit on it. But we're going back to our working relationship with the building inspector as far as demo permits go now. The one we had before Jason changed it. So that he'll get a demo permit and pass on to us, so we'll look at it in our time period and determine if it should be, go through or, you know, giving the go ahead for the demolition plan. So that's a good thing. But that house, you know, is they're looking to take down. We'll want that, we'll look at that. So. Okay, we did get a house marker request, and I printed out the email, but I'm gonna put them. One thing, actually, Tom Hadley, you received that email, right? Yeah, we'll take the elements of that, but I haven't yet. So,
Yeah.
Town thought our house markers looked good. We wanted us information on it.
Yeah, forwarded the email to Sean.
Sure.
Facilities.
Oh,
He's in charge of all the signs around town and everything, I forget what's the name of that. Like the new, welcome to Kingston signs and all that, he did the veterans, you know, the signs. For that,
Over there,
yeah,
that's the facilities is doing the Kingston side.
okay.
So it's, well, Sean is the director of,
students arts.
Yeah,
But
that's
Rob,
right.
yeah, Rob is doing the Kingston side.
Oh, okay, well, Sean was working nothing like that.
But he probably had to do the guys put him
Because
in.
he sat with us and, helped us with the, direction sign for the big Kingston Veterans Memorial.
Mhm.
He seemed to know a lot about, everything like that. I didn't forgot anything back, it surprised me.
Well, these really, we've been taken care of, they
Yeah.
don't have much to do with it.
Okay.
So, yeah, and there haven't been many, but there was one request recently that they were probably. And we should start pushing those more, but, you know, so
I know some of the railroad change hands, they're still doing,
they changed hands again?
well, no, we discussed it a year or two ago, right? And
Yeah,
but they're still doing it for us.
station,
Okay.
you know, I gotta go up there and see those guys, I guess, but no. But they were, and I think they had a bunch of blanks,
Okay.
so, we'll check it out, but those are the ones, and we should verify before we start pushing them, make sure. Price is probably gone,
I'm sure.
yeah. And we did pass around the archivist series here going on for people that want to put this through, the community, activity, at the public library, it's not the public library, though, it's the Adams Center, right? Yeah, the Adams Center, and the exhibit talk on, history of Kingston tool making on July 19th, 2 to 4 p.m. And then there's an exhibit there on the tours at the Adams Center. And that's going to be, hours on Monday, 10:30 to 12:30, Tuesday, 5:30 to 7:30, Wednesday, 2 to 4, and Thursday, 2 to 4. And it's an exhibit open house, Wednesday night, 6 to 8. And then we have a local history interest group. They're talking about inventing, inventors and innovators in Kingston, and that's gonna be on July 24th, 6 to 7, at the Adams Center. Something so. I got some donuts. All right, that takes us down to continuing business. The update on the 300 book project, any updates we have from anybody on that? No. They're both going today. Tom in Iceland, believe it or not. And Ken's doing some gambling. 300th committee, we had a couple members from the group come to the house for the house. They were inspecting our house, our house is gonna be on the house
The
tour,
last one, very good.
next year.
Yep.
And, I was asking, are you guys on that committee? And, oh, yeah, our group has a subcommittee of
That was,
that.
there was some other members, but some, two of the members are on the committee problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was unable to attend the last meeting, but I did get updates. We're moving forward with all of our, subgroups.
Mhm.
We have most of our dates finalized, and I think by next week's meeting in August at the latest, we'll have, dates, because we want to get a page in the book that explains all the dates that we're gonna do, so, and the book is gonna come out by,
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be
we're
like,
working with the book.
that's
yes,
gonna be
it's
the part of the
it's
book,
yes.
that's the more.
That's
Yeah.
gonna explain what's happening for the 300, yeah. But they need everything by like September, or October for latest, that's when they're gonna start releasing stuff.
It's tough to do, because you gotta have all the places on it, and everything, you know, so just gonna have a date.
We're gonna have it, we have a lot of some stuff lined up, but we're gonna have all the dates finalized, so we kind of.
And you're gonna publish it in the book, right? Is it going to be published elsewhere? Is that?
Yeah, I don't know, we'll publish that all over the place,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna try.
And when do you think that, like, when do you think it will first start coming out? As early as the end of the summer?
For the dates right now.
Yeah, for the date.
So actually, you get on the town website, you go to 300, we do have everything listed, and the known dates are already on there, so
Okay,
people can
yeah.
start looking there.
Yeah.
Our first event is gonna be this December, and it's gonna be a gala. So we start with the ball, and then everything else we start to slowly start in around the spring, around May, and run through September.
What's your costume?
We had talked about it, I don't, it's not finalized yet, but they talked about possibly doing, historical truths and figures. So,
So you said it was December?
December, yes.
Is it gonna be on top ones or?
I believe that's what they're looking exactly.
Yeah.
So that's in the process, the grant process that we get from the state, we spent the first, 50%. So we submitted all that, and we're waiting to make sure that all that paperwork is complete, and we'll get the other 50%. The first 50% was, used to purchase, two of those welcome to Kingston signs. So we do that, and then we also, for all the rest of the signs and those two, there's banners that are gonna go, solid banners that are gonna go underneath and say, celebrating Kingston's 300th anniversary. And then we also purchased, some more merchandise to be sold, at the different events in town, and we also did, we also donated money towards the book fund, and, yeah, it includes that. And, yeah, we did for that money.
Who made the signs?
It was a, Hassan sign, and I can't remember the signature for Hassan.
They look very nice.
They're very nice,
I'll
yeah,
say all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
At least for a year.
Yeah. So those were the main signs, the solid banners and the new sign with. So that's, I knew there was 4 places we purchased from, but it didn't encompass in one project.
And are we getting any banners over the, like on Main Street downtown, going across the?
I actually do have some prices up for banners, we haven't decided where they're gonna go, but that's actually not a bad idea for something important.
That's
I
good.
don't know if we have something hanging up there, but yeah, that might be a good idea.
There's, something to look at. I remember when we had Daffodil Days, like this fall and stuff, Daffodil Days, and we want to put a banner across 3A in the state. We put the nix on it because, it's a state highway, you can't do
It
it,
might not be,
but in Bourne, in Buzzards Bay, they have it across the road.
but
So, that's what we do.
something else we can bring through, it won't be as big, but, if we go through like Halifax and some of the other towns, they have the veterans
Yeah,
banners up. we could do, it has a banner about this big with a picture of the veteran and the dates of service.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it sticks out at the top and something like that, we could do a couple of those with that 300.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come in different.
Well, you know,
Usually all the sizes,
Yeah.
yep.
they had, some towns have them on flagpoles, you know, with all the veterans in the town, they have a picture of them, and what their rank was or whatever. I was thinking with those things were, you guys, other than the town seal, do you have any symbol for the anniversary?
So we have three separate symbols. One of them is to modify the town seal.
Hmm.
The other one is like a 300 with an anchor and a rope that goes around. And the other one, I think, is just block letters that say the Kingston 300.
Have you thought about replacing some of the American flags with those for the year? You know, on the ones that I got put up on the street, the telephone poles?
So we actually, I don't know if you can speak better on this. I know that the Memorial Committee working with, the Memorial Day Parade Committee, they want to do some of these weapons, banners if possible.
Oh, that's you.
Okay, I know.
Well, we're having a temporary.
Yeah, so that has been discussed, I don't know if it was under permission or not, but they talked about possibly doing that. And I know different towns have either paid for them out of funds like that, or charge the family and say, hey, we'd like to pay this price and we can get a banner for your
Yeah,
family member.
Yeah, I think that's the way, is that the type of banner that you, that is talked to the committee about, when we did?
Yes, about those, the possibility of those.
the ones I've seen on those towns, then there's two poles that come up. The band's tight.
Yep,
That's one thing, and then, but you have to get the poles. And then the other one was using the symbols you've got, they got some flags to go along, replace some of the American flags that we've got on the street.
oh, I see what you're saying, yeah, no,
Just
okay.
hang them off there, and we could keep the American flags after the 300, we'll just put them back up.
Yep.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know what they cost, but
No, I
the
mean,
pole, those have the poles over
The
there.
banners were pretty short running, so I'm not sure how much the flag would be.
yeah, that would be really nice. The flag's probably not here by then, I'll replace.
A
the
lot of
new
them
one.
are replaced every year.
Yeah.
So they're gonna bring them up. Okay, all right, so on to the tree project. The, I haven't seen it, that's a report. Let me check that mailbox, I think. You go, see it.
So what are the start and ending dates of the anniversary?
So,
Like an official celebration.
yeah, so it's a, we're doing like some soft stuff now, just out promoting things and selling merchandise, but the actual like first of night of our schedule is December.
Listen,
And then right now it's running through, September is gonna be Old Home Day, and hopefully either fireworks or, some sort of show like that, and then there was also talk of either this December and or next December doing something around Luminary, so it might run through next December as well.
okay.
Well, there wasn't, whatever, I don't know which. There's mail,
Well,
back to mail, they, that's historic. Oh, it's, Jones River Forge Pond Dam Fish Passage Improvement Project. Say that fast. Jones River Forge Pond Dam Fish Passage Improvement Project. That's there, they reviewed it, reviews the, remember there was a PAL preliminary report they put out. They've offered some comments about it, I haven't taken the letter, but. Sorry, who was it from? Mass Historic Commission. Applying for that. they found intact masonry, you know, for the mill. The faucets are filled into charcoal and coal. Well, months of historic artifacts. Women's Student Festival information about results of the archaeological investigation, including our comments. This is from the Pride Project. Again,
Symbols. The one is with the mark and town symbol. And the other one is the 300 thing around, fire around. And then, that's one is the block.
So you're aware that this project, the dredging they're gonna use, by the suction dredge, and you're gonna shoot the mud and the water to dredge up onto the shoreline, basically, or into a shallow area. So what they're saying basically is, if there's no subsurface impact to any archaeological sensitive area that they know of, then it's okay. But if they are going to get into doing some work below the soil level in the project, then there would have to be more archaeological surveys done. But I don't think that's the case of it, but they're all set.
Yeah, well, this one, they don't do anything that hasn't been done before.
Antenna installation, 233 Main Street. Church. Yeah. There's they used to have antennas within the steeple for the church there. The church on Main Street. And they didn't, they lost that contract for some reason. But apparently they're putting in more antennas inside. And they say, based on their, what they know, that's not going to be effective. The historical nature of the church not be effective for the civilian antennas within the steeple. So that's that. Yeah. Okay. Why they go over that for? Anyways,
And Brown, the financials.
oh, the financials, yeah, we got a new statement, but we didn't, so. Thanks. And also, if you can, we were doing it, you know, that one's price. We have a to-do list, you know,
Action item.
action item.
Yes.
Send that out, that would be great,
Okay,
especially for me.
yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so, onto the tree. I sent that, the contracts, or not contracts, they're quotes out to you guys, yesterday. And we received 4. The scope of work was, I think I said the scope of work out a long time ago. That we had the one page, one page of, what they have to do. And I sent a copy of that and the contract that the town requires them to sign with the insurance requirements and all that to them as well. So they're aware of it, although they didn't really address it in there. Quotes, one of them did send a copy of a signed contract that they filled out ahead of time, basically. So they were happy with that. But any of these people that we talked to are gonna have to, we're gonna have to confirm about scope of work, that will be part of the contract. And then they'll have to comply with the contract, the town standard contract. And comply with the insurance requirements that are required by the town for this type of work. And we received those 4 quotes. And as you know, they range from the $37,500 up to the $80,000, which is the latest one. So it's quite a range of costs there. As I related to you, I think last time, I asked the town administrator whether if you know, we're trying to keep it under the bid, about 50,000. But Aspen says, what if we get quotes, 3 quotes, and, you know, one is under 50 and the rest are above it, and we go with the quote, the low quote, you know, without going out to bid. And he said, yes, that would be okay. So we can take that lower quote if we want to, which you know, talked to all these guys. This company, we haven't mentioned names and company here, the one we're looking at.
Yeah, that's, I remember, that's something.
Yeah, is, they're around for, you know, that's a lot of work.
If you look at like, and a lot of those, each of those different sites, I mean, it's seems fairly good. There's not no negatives.
So, and the guys that, I think they're really anxious to get the job. They've been in touch with the guys since their sales guy. We walked the place, they came up there with their crew and looked at it, took a look at it. I just wanna make sure they know what they're getting into, you know what I mean? We do have wiggle room with that price there, so that if something comes up, we can cover any extra stuff.
Or, well, it was an official, it wasn't an official bid process, we just asked.
That's a quote.
The quote,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But if, there was a lot of detail in some of those the other proposals, that I wondered about if there wasn't on that one. And I mean, there's at least a lot of, seemed to me, a lot of questions I would ask about if they would, you know, do the limbs on the, what was that tree?
Well, okay, so I'm
They're
making a
gonna-
list
they're
of
gonna
things
read-
now, so yeah, they'll limb up. Yeah,
What was it, a linden tree?
limb up the limbing tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, limb up, if that one's,
Mhm.
that, you know, it's decided that one's staying.
It's, yeah. Mhm.
And they, one quote mentioned that about, you know, taking the
Yeah.
limbs up to make more, you know, less of a close canopy. I
Right,
thought that was really good and seems like appropriate, it should
well, a
be.
couple of them actually definitely talked about it,
Yeah,
and maybe, I didn't talk with this other guy about it.
so if we
But-
wanted to ask them if they would add X, Y, Z,
Mhm.
what's that mean for the price, you know?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of detail on some of those other ones that I wondered about, going through them really, you know, and
Sure.
since there is room, you know.
Well, one of them, the thing is, it's the scope of work basically that has to be complied with, you know, and
Yeah,
that's where
right.
the detail is. And they have to go along with that. So a lot of them may not have put that in there, the detail that's in the scope of work. But they'd be expected to do it, but that's a good point. So we can talk about some of the extra things we want to make sure when we sit down with these guys to make sure that they got everything we want done. One thing is, you have to get, find out a protection on the roads, especially how they right handle. And they may come to and convince us, and the Evergreen Cemetery, it's not a problem with their equipment on that road. But, how they're gonna get things over the, parking lot for the old townhouse there, the driveway there. And even in our cemetery, they're gonna be right on the edge of the, you know, the roadway going in. And with heavy equipment, they might have to pad down the road as they go along.
They said, you know, we'll have to know, we need to take the police details. But they said.
That's included.
It is included.
Yeah, I made sure. And, also it's gotta be, the wages for them, they all know that, I just wanna make sure that. They spell that, I think that's in here. So that's something, the road protections, we'll have to meet with, Evergreen Cemetery. And, how are they gonna shield the stones, how are they gonna shield those stones under the trees that they're working on? I wanna find out about that. And what happens if they find out that crane can't reach one of these trees, you know, they don't have a thing that can make them. It's gonna be tight, I mean, they're gonna have to really get strategic in the placement of their cranes, to get them. So do they cover their own costs, say, okay, maybe one tree, they're gonna have to kind of limit. And bring them down separately in place. So what else do we have to think about?
They always done work in another historical.
Yeah, that's.
That's like, imagine all kind of tight squeezes.
Mhm. Yeah, we can ask them for references on that.
Right here, we have, the option of, drawing accessible stumps to clean up. And no, they don't go far down, but that's something you have to check with Mass Historical to go on the low grade.
The only place I've said that they're gonna do stumps is on, if they take down the two trees that are on the green. The other two spruce right there, right next to the wall.
Yeah.
They take them down, we grind them out. I told them to cut as low as they can, and we're gonna leave.
Okay.
That's what they've done in the past.
And actually, the tree work we just had done, they advised to try to carry the stumps right there if you can anyway, so that would be the place we need it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Although it looks really out next to yeah, I guess they are. Yeah. Okay. So that's the stump grinding's okay. We've got that in here. What else, we think we need? Or should need to talk to them about? You saw this, you got this one, yeah. Okay. So. One has cut and remove 68 trees from cemetery, includes all trees in the ground set large double. Actually, there's a couple trees that be good there. There's probably two. There's a couple trees over by the Hearst house, smaller trees, and oak tree on the smaller tree anyways. And then the small maple out there. They look good. There's a few other trees we're gonna have them look at just to see if they should come down or not.
Yeah, I mean, what if for the future, how big they're gonna get, how fast, and the root systems and all that, around where they are.
Well, Trio is, as you go into Evergreen, the parking lot down there.
Yeah.
You know, the three spruce trees in a row right there. Those are, they're right up to the road, and then pretty much, there's not much space on the other side of them. One of them is really heavily affected by fields, okay? The other two aren't. So, I don't know whether that should, I don't even know if they're on town property or Evergreen's property.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I know we have those trees right there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a road that's our property or if it's a little space. I think also that's also a question for others too, because I know. Not always like one might be damaged, but the other will be fine, but if you take down some clumps of trees and leave a couple, they're very susceptible to wind.
Yeah.
So the others won't suggest taking them down, if it is ours.
Yeah. And we have to do it from, if it is yours, I guess we gotta find out, how can you know
We should have.
the plot plan?
One
for this
for
building?
for that,
I know we got a plot plan for
Yeah.
our cemetery.
yeah,
And if they look aesthetically better, which have them done. Maybe that,
I wouldn't say it's been all better, but I mean,
more open, more, we can see what they.
if you look on this corner right here, okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna pass that down,
we cut,
right under your thumb. It looks like they would, the plot line, it doesn't show the pavement. But it looks like those trees are on, come within the dashed line. Actually, this one here is better, John. I've got them circled, and I drew them in kind of.
but
So I don't know if those rounds or not, but, I suppose you find that out. You want to take a look at that with oh, yeah, you want to have a big thing?
I'm not, I think Tom is.
Yeah, he's not home, but,
Yeah, I know several people are, we can talk about.
can you research that?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out where the septic is there, right?
So the last I checked, and I didn't follow up on that, but we have the building right here, we believe it's on this side of the far side. So I think we're good, but I'll double check them.
But it's on the side of the building, not under the.
The building is that front road, yeah, so, but he was gonna clarify that, so,
Okay, who wants to do
Chris Barata, who's
Okay.
gonna, lead it.
Okay, what else do we need to make sure? These guys know. Oh, okay, so. Arborist reviews included, and this one actually says prevailing wage fund.
So you're gonna follow up with evergreen on the septic, but also.
Something in on the lot line. and we'll do that.
That's two trees, yeah.
Okay,
Actually, do you mind if I hold on to that, which one reference with them?
okay, remove all trees inside cemetery stone wall, cut the stumps low in between the first parish and church and evergreen cemetery driveway, and cut the stumps low. Except for the huge linden tree, in between the church and the house. Plus one oak and one beech, there's a beech tree behind the garage. Raise the canopy and thin out the center of the beech linden tree. Raise the canopy and turn back away from the garage. That one's, they added that. And these other ones were over by the one large leader from Big Pine that was over. Kind of in the dumping zone, the far end of the cemetery, whereas all the stuff, the big trees are just in there. It was one that's kind of sticking out.
Mhm.
So we had that one, we discovered that when we were walking the lot again.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this one include all that price for grinding all stumps over 25 inches, but you're not gonna be doing that. Other one has a lot of stuff in it, quite a lot of it. But, this guy here, this one was very, very, thorough in reviewing when we walked around there. Explaining how the cranes would work. So it's just a little sort of that, you know.
Any sense of why there was such a broad range, like anything?
I think-
Stand out.
My feeling is that they, well, like we found out before, I don't think, once some look at it, well, I don't want to get into this mess.
But else,
It's too much.
to.
I'll put a high bid and then it's worthwhile for us to get into this. Now that it's maybe that they're worried about their crane reach, you know, and in fact, a lot of uncertainty there. I think that might have raised the price.
Yeah.
The high one, especially. But, so. We could actually, we have the money to do the other, this second, the one that we know, with 15 years and water's passed, but I'm going to 58,
Is it 57 too?
57.
The base, they give us no wiggle room then. You know, if there's
Oh, it's a little
unexpected
bit.
things that pop up.
There's a little bit there, but the thing is, if we took them, we're gonna have to go after bid. And it's such a big difference between the, you know, you're talking, 25 yards.
Must have come down on price.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty good. Well, so I told them what we're trying to do and how much money we had, and they tried to keep it down.
Yeah.
Sure, for one company. So, I guess then you should go with that company that submitted the low quote and discusses other items. He did get back to me, so I want to make sure the date on it was from a previous quote he sent, and it was February 4th. So I want to make sure this was the current one. It is, but it says looking at, realize we didn't include the cost of the office, so it says office visit site something. This says have a price then, so he said that's it, so it's $300 an hour or something for office. So that would be the but any of these other things we're talking about, we didn't discuss with any of them about road protection, okay? protection of, wherever they set up, yes. But getting in, I wasn't really talking to them about that, so we have to make sure they know that to do that. And then, how they're gonna, how they're gonna shield the stones, I wanna know how that's gonna happen. And, taking care of that living tree, that shouldn't be a big problem. The other thing we have to find out too is on Main Street, we have to take down, the trees along the church, front of the church there. There's one that they gotta get in there with a crane on, and there's one that's practically dead. So I gotta see if we need to have a hearing, if they have to have a hearing to take that tree down. There's a size, a certain size, if it's over that, town has to have a public hearing to take down a tree on the road.
Okay.
That's part of town property. So, I started looking for the bylaw, money, but then finally, we're talking, Sean, about that. So what are your thoughts then?
I think that low bid seems like the way to go. I mean, I haven't heard anything that suggests that our bids are going to, they're not doing more work. It doesn't sound like they're, 37.5 is directly with the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see the issue with it, within the budget, again, you said all the research I've done, I would be in congrats to all of them.
Yeah, if we can find out those things. And it does say, in the scope of work, it says August included, so.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. All right, so I will get in touch with them and, have a sit down with this guy and do all that stuff, make sure it's included in the price and we'll get going on that. We've got to then sign a contract, they're gonna have to change their insurance policy slightly to, reflect what the town wants. And it shouldn't be an issue though. And maybe we'll get this thing done.
Do you need an motion?
Yeah, why don't we have a motion? There a motion there. So the motion would be to, seeking, how would we phrase that?
Well, accept
Except the vote. This is from Hanson, let's say, Hanson, Freedom Landscape Company. Yeah, from else. And negotiate any further changes.
Yeah,
How's that? That work?
well said, yeah.
Okay. You gonna make that motion?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, second, okay, so that's good.
It should be good.
Nothing else can-
It's funny with the tree companies, so like, they're pulling teeth trying to get stuff, they just don't. Stuff, I don't know, trying to get checked around and then they all eventually come through, but it's like you wait a long time in between contacts and then and they're gonna get this next week and you promise it the next day or the next day or the next week. And it takes a long time to get things done.
you want to just.
Yes, so let's do it. So we have that motion and, any other discussion on it? All in favor? Then, all opposed, so, yeah. All right, that's all I had on the agenda for tonight. What else do we have for them? Anything else we found out, people? The article series talked about house market, first talked about further on insurance. Anything else? Next meeting date?
Next meeting date is, August 12th.
Ooh.
Go to, so, for Tuesday. 13, yeah. Wednesday the 13th.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not thinking maybe something.
And possibly a little lot of,
All right, the plan, I'll leave on 14. August 13th. So. Nothing else tonight? All right, motion to adjourn this one.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Very good.